because tag pages are the devil. Who has tag pages on the blog?
Who knows what tag pages are? Okay, so you're going to have to go over that.
Why don't you explain it? What?
Okay, so when you have a blog and you're writing a blog post and there's that spot where you can put in tags and you're just kind of putting in all these different keywords and you don't really know what they're doing or why, those then are going to be tag pages. So those pages that are all tagged with that specific keyword, now they're all just going to be in this list, and that doesn't do anything for you. Category pages, on the other hand, are great for SEO. The tag pages are worthless. In fact, you should no index them and not even use them. You should remove them and never use them again. So.
Yep. Can you guys hear me now?
Sorry.
Okay. Now can you hear me? Okay, now I'm back. So the way to check if you have tag pages indexed in Google is just type in site : and then your domain name. No space after the colon, so you're going to Google for site : and then blogher.com or whatever your domain is. And then you're going to look for tag pages in the results. If you want to get really fancy, then you could add also to the search query in URL : tag. But I don't want to overly complicate things. So that's how you're going to see if you have tag pages indexed. And then you're going to go into your Yoast SEO settings and hit the little checkbox that says to no index those. Next, we've got date-based archives. Date-based archives, I don't like. I don't think users are very interested in going to, let's say, May of 2018. That's not really that useful.
Yeah, it's unnecessary to use those.
And it's not great anchor text for the search engines to associate with the pages that you're linking to. They're not going to rank, in other words, not well, unless you're trying to optimize for May 2018, which I guess probably not. So those are not great. So sucky title tags.
Title tags. Who here knows what a title tag is? Okay, so a title tag. So the title attribute in the head section of HTML, and if that's too geek for you, it's basically the snippet of wording that's at the top of your browser window, or if you have multiple tabs open, it's the title of each tab. That is your title tag for that page. Every page has one. You can set this with the Yoast SEO plugin, other ways as well, but that's the easiest way to set your title tags. Now, title tags are one of the primary spots for your keywords on each page. So it should be a title, and you don't want to make it long, you don't want to keyword stuff, it should be a good title, but it should have your primary keywords for that page in your title tag, always. And at the beginning of your title tag, Googlebot gives more weight to the keywords that are at the beginning of your title tag versus the end of them. And there's more best practices on this, and you just Google it because we can't go through all of that in this session, or we can jump on a call and I'll pull up your site after this session, and we'll go through and I'll walk you through how to do that. But so your title tag is super, super important, and your meta descriptions are going to be a little different. Google is not looking at the keywords in your meta descriptions, okay? Meta descriptions are purely for your users. So when you Google something and the 10 results, your organic results come up, the title tag that you set for your page is the title of that listing in Google. Then the meta description will usually show up as the description. So you want to write your meta descriptions so they're compelling. So they're going to generate click-through rate, CTR, right? So you're writing them for your users, but your title tags are writing for users and for Googlebot, okay? So
that, by the way, is a great kind of trick question to insert into an interview if you're trying to hire an SEO. Tell them, well, just ask them the question, what do meta descriptions do for my rankings? Right, that's a leading question. The only right answer is it doesn't improve your rankings at all. Yep. It's not a ranking signal. Meta descriptions aren't a ranking signal. Next we got duplicate content. So I'll take this and just explain that every time that you have a repetition of a blog post with a little blurb or the entire post, let's say on the home page you've got 10 posts, and let's say it's the first 2 paragraphs, that's duplicate content that will also appear on the category pages that you've associated with the categories that you've put those blog posts in. They'll also appear in date-based archives. The same text will also appear on the permalink page for the blog post. So there's a lot of duplicate content just by the nature of having a blog. My recommendation is to use optional excerpts, which is a built-in feature in WordPress, and then you'll use those optional excerpts on every page except for the permalink blog post page. So that's unique content from all the other places where you're going to feature the blog post. So having no intro copy, that's another mistake. Do you want to?
You can take it, go ahead.
Okay.
We want to power through, so.
So sticky posts, anyone know what sticky posts are? Yeah. So it gets the post to get to be at the top. And if you do this for category pages, then that copy will be a great keyword-rich introduction copy to that category. Anyone do that currently? Yeah? Awesome. Great. Using someone else's domain.
Sure. So there's a difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org. And I found this out the hard way when I was first starting my blog at 14. It was a WordPress.com blog. So it was, Neopets, I think it was neopetsfanatic.wordpress.com, right? So, or a Blogspot or whatever it might be. This is a big mistake. You don't want to be on someone else's domain. Have your own. Have your own and have it hosted on a host like HostGator, Bluehost, GoDaddy, whatever, that, whichever one you want to use, and make sure you have your own domain.
Yeah. Even if, anyone using medium.com? Okay. Yeah, even medium.com, you don't want to have your posts living on that domain. You want it living on your site. Next, we've got lousy URLs. You want to take that one?
Yep. So the URLs of all of your pages, you don't want them to be super long with all these weird words and numbers. Short and sweet. That is the trick, okay? So when you're writing a new page, you can edit what's called the slug, and it's also called the path. It's basically just the words that come after your domain. So example.com/ and then that's what we call the path. And so you need to edit that down and make sure that if you're writing a blog post that has a really long title, that you cut that down inside the path when you're writing your blog post. And just use good keywords, make it short and sweet. And if you're going to be going back and changing those URLs right now, because you are going to say, well, okay, I'm going to go look through my blog post. Oh yeah, these URLs are terrible. They're super long. They'll automatically do a 301 redirect, so then that doesn't render a 404 page error, because then it's like a not found error and your page doesn't exist anymore. So you don't want that. If that were to happen, you would want to do a 301 redirect, and there's a plugin for that called Redirection.
Yep.
So
but
you can use that.
It's already built in to WordPress that when you change the post slug, it will automatically redirect from the old URL to the new one. So
yeah.
For changing the post slug, you don't have to worry about the redirection plugin.
Yes.
And then not building up your EAT, which stands for expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Who's heard of this acronym before? Yep. So yeah, a number of you. This is a acronym that came out of Google. They were using it to describe credibility, essentially, of websites, blogs that have expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, because the human reviewers that they employed, they have an army of them, like thousands of these folks, and they look at websites such as yours, and then they determine whether that is, a credible source or not. So if you don't have EAT, then you don't show your credentials or diplomas or certifications. You don't have authoritative links pointing to your site. You don't have trusted links to your site, and it doesn't look good. And then Google will treat you accordingly, which is not what you want. So you need EAT. I have an article in Search Engine Land called "There's No." Oh shoot! I'll have to pull it up. Something about there's no such thing.
Something about EAT.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I can't remember the exact title of it. All right, so what do we optimize? So target keywords.
Yep. So basically, I want to back up a little bit. A lot of people here probably don't know really the pillars or the main foundational parts of SEO. So we can really break it down into on-page SEO, off-page SEO, and your technical SEO. So when we're looking at on-page, that includes your content, how high quality your content is, and the keywords that you're targeting on your pages. And then your off-page is really who's linking to you, what we call your link profile, your inbound links. Okay, so that's actually really the biggest piece of the puzzle here. Well, they all kind of go hand in hand. It's like the three-legged stool. If one of them isn't there, then it will fall. So you need all of them. There's all these pieces of the puzzle. But that's the most important one. And then there's your technical SEOs, your page speed, and looking at your mobile friendliness and your errors and all of that kind of good stuff. So back to your on-page. So the way that you should be targeting keywords, there are so many myths that just won't die about keyword targeting. A lot of bloggers think keyword density is a thing that they need to be paying attention to. How many times your keyword is on your page. It's not about that. It's about where and what keywords that you're targeting. Okay, so there's only a few spots for your keywords. Your title tag, your H1 heading, and then the first sentence or two of your body copy. Those are really the most important spots for your primary keywords. They don't need to be repeated again as is elsewhere throughout your page. So that's really the most important thing when it comes to keyword targeting.
So it's not about repetition, as Chloe says. You do want to think about what are some related keywords. For example, if you're writing a blog post about lawnmowers and you never mention grass or yards or lawns or weed whackers or landscaping or any of these other kinds of keywords, that looks very surface level. So those are called LSI keywords. They're related keywords, and that makes your content look deep and not shallow. We don't want to have thin content that's thin because it's just too short. We don't want to have thin content that's just repetition of the same keyword over and over again. And we don't want to have content that is surface level in that it doesn't really go deep into the topic. Okay, title tags, categories, and URLs. Those are next. You want to go?
Yeah, well, we kind of already went over title tags and URLs and everything, so.
Okay, so category pages, I want to just say that these are really a missed opportunity for many blogs because they are targeting a certain powerful keyword, oftentimes. If they're not, you might want to change your categorization. And they're linked to from every page of your site, right? They're usually part of your main nav, your top navigation. They're in your footer. So you want to take advantage of all that internal link equity and make good use of those category pages. And remember, one of the things you can do to make those category pages sing to the search engines for the keywords that you're targeting is to have intro copy using a sticky post. Navigation. So that includes related posts and breadcrumbs.
Go ahead.
Okay. So breadcrumbs, anyone use a breadcrumb nav type of plugin for WordPress? No? You might want to consider that. So just a couple of you, because that reinforces the internal linking structure. And then related posts. Anyone use like YARP, yet another related post plugin or anything like that? Yeah. So that gives you additional internal links to your important stuff that is related to the posts that the search engine is indexing. Next, we have the RSS feed. So it's a really simple thing on that. If you have left that setting, just another WordPress blog, you ever see that when you start a new WordPress blog? If you just leave that alone because it's not displayed on your website, guess what? It's still displayed in your RSS feed. And that could end up being the description of your blog on various websites that are pulling data from your RSS feed. So fix that. Body copy, there's one other thing I'll say about that. Try to internally link to other pages of your site. You know, like the New York Times links to their topic pages from relevant articles in the body copy of the articles. That's why they rank number 4 in Google for Iraq, is because they have so many articles about Iraq that link back in the copy to the Iraq topic page. Anything else you want to say about body copy?
No, that's pretty good.
All right.
I want to get through I'm
Okay.
going to get too deep into the technical stuff because some of it is just really geeky. And it's like, woo! So.
Yeah, so there's
into-
another slide we're going to pass here because it's pretty technical. Robots.txt, XML sitemaps, and so forth. And titles and headlines. So why lead with a number?
So basically, when you're thinking of titles for your page, and so your H1 title of your page or post versus your title tag, those can be different, and they should be different. But when we're talking about lead with a number, so like 5 ways to do whatever, right? 5 myths to this, or the 10 best blah, 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 right? So these kind of number-based titles do really well in Google. So you should take advantage of that. So that's why we want to lead with a number for a lot of these different pages where that's applicable. So
Yeah, don't just take our word for it. There's actually hardcore research that was done to find out what reader preferences were for different types of headlines. And number-based headlines, according to this conductor study, which is written up on Moz.com, 5 reader headlines that users click, something like that is the title. So that conductor study found that number-based headlines performed the best, like 30-some%, versus the worst performer, question-based headlines. So if you tend to do question-based headlines, you might want to rethink that because that percentage was, I think, 12 or 18% or something. It's markedly less. So when you decouple the title tag from your title of your, or the name of your blog post, or the name of your page, you have the opportunity to incorporate other keywords and to cut out a lot of the fluff. So this screenshot here that you see is from my plugin called SEO Title Tag, which allows you to mass edit title tags across your entire blog, which is pretty cool. You don't have to go individually to every single blog post one at a time and edit it and then save it and then go to the next one and then edit and save it. So this allows you to see a whole bunch of title tags all at one go, and you can even mass edit the post slugs as well. So as you can see.
Are the slides going on
Yeah,
big screen too?
she's
okay,
moving.
perfect.
Okay, so next, some essential tools. These are some of our favorites. Suval, Answer the Public, and Moz.
Yeah, so when you are doing keyword research, which is absolutely
I'm going to pull up the tool while you...
Okay, cool. So it's imperative that you're doing keyword research and you're not just going with your gut, because you have to figure out the data to determine which keywords you should be targeting. So there are keyword brainstorming tools like Suval and Answer the Public. These are really awesome tools, but they're not going to give you search volume data, which is really what we want to go after doing our keyword brainstorming. So something like Moz Keyword Explorer is fantastic for doing keyword research and seeing how many searches these keywords are getting in Google per month, and you can choose which country, and so for the most part you do the United States, and then you can go to discover different keyword opportunities, and you can look at all these other different related keywords, or that include the words that you put in your query, or doesn't include. So it's really, really awesome. This is a paid tool, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. So if you have a group of blogger friends, have everyone go in on it, and you can all share it. Right? So you can create keyword lists, and it's awesome. So absolutely use a tool like Moz Keyword Explorer. Don't use the Google AdWords Keyword Planner though, because that's a highly inaccurate tool, and the reason for that is because they group their keywords by buckets. So sometimes it'll be 30,000, 40,000 searches off, and if the keyword falls somewhere in the middle, it's going to be lumped into one bucket or the other, and it's giving you inaccurate search data. So don't use that tool. And you can also use Ahrefs, which is another great tool. And then what was the other tool?
And SEMrush.
Yeah, SEMrush as well.
Why don't
and
we
then
actually
what was
just...
the next on the list? It was...
Let's actually see what these
Oh,
tools
sure.
look like. So this is Suval. Watch what happens as I type some keystrokes. See, it's auto-completing, not just from Google, but also Bing, Yahoo, Answers.com, YouTube, Wikipedia, Amazon, all simultaneously. So as I keep typing, see that? and I can click on any one of these, and it will take me directly to the search results for that keyword that I clicked on in that particular search engine. So that's a great way to get some keyword ideas just when you're brainstorming. But when you get to that kind of hardcore research phase where you want to see the differences in numbers of searches for each of the keywords, that's where Moz Keyword Explorer comes in. So that's what Chloe was explaining, and we could put in, let's say, SEO here, and then choose the US or whatever region we're trying to target, and it will tell us not just the search volume, number of searches estimated per month. It's a range, but it's 95% accurate because of the way that they do it. So it's really great. And they also give you difficulty scores, which is really cool. So you get to see how hard is it to break onto page 1 for that keyword. And then answer the public. I don't think you mentioned that one yet. Do you want to?
Yeah, well, you can pull it up there. Answer the Public is another great keyword brainstorming tool. You'll see it up there in a second. There's a weird guy on the homepage. It's really strange. It used to be another guy, a weird
Another
guy.
weirder guy
They
is
changed
gone.
it, I
They
think,
just
'cause it was
replaced it
too
with
disturbing.
it's a regular guy.
But it's
Anyways,
a free
look
tool.
at this.
Free
Isn't
tool,
that beautiful?
same with Suval.
So do you want to explain how this works? Like, so I
Oh,
put
go
in
ahead.
SEO.
I can't see the screen, so go ahead and explain it.
Okay. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. There are what, where, when, why, how types of search queries that are popular and are recommended by Google Suggest. And this tool scrapes all those and then puts them in a nice, pretty wheel there. But you can switch to a data view. And that's going to be a lot easier to look at and see. Look, see the different kinds of keywords. These are searches that are either questions like who, what, where, when, and why, or in this case, we're looking at implied questions like is or can, well, that is a question, with, to, near, that sort of thing. So we just switch to data view, and there's our how SEO works, how SEO is done, how SEO increases sales. And so you might create blog posts about these different topics and thinking, wow, this is stuff that people are searching for on my topic. Let's create an FAQ. Let's create blog posts. Let's build out a learning center based on this stuff. And then we have Majestic. Do you want to mention Majestic?
Sure. So when we were talking about off-page SEO and your link profile, so who's linking to you and being such a foundational, huge part of SEO, the way we can look at that is through looking at your site's authority. Okay, this is what Google is looking at when determining where to rank you in their search engine. So if you have an authoritative, trusted website, then you're much more likely to be ranked in the search engine. If not, then you're not going to rank at all. Even if you do everything, all this good on-page stuff, I mean, you've done all your keyword research, your blog posts, everything, but then your site has zero authority, you won't rank. So it's so critical that you're building authoritative links and upping your site's authority. So if you're thinking right now, okay, well, what's my site's authority? So you can use third-party tools to take a look at this. Majestic.com is one of the very best ways to look at your site's authority. Now, this is a paid tool as well, but you do get a few free searches a day. Again, you can go in on it with some blogger friends. You can all use the tool in more depth, so you can look into your backlinks. I highly recommend it. But just for right now, go ahead. Not right now, right? But later after the session, look up your domain on Majestic.com and see what your authority is. Now, this score is from 0 to 100, and it's on a logarithmic scale, like the Richter scale. So even if you see it's 10, it's not 10%, right? It's going to be lower. So it's really, really hard to kind of increase your score once you get to a certain point. So you're not going to ever reach 100, okay? Even like Bed Bath & Beyond is like 60 or something like that. So if you're at, I'd say a 30, that's a really great score to be at. Obviously, you want to go higher, but 30 is a 20 to 30 is a
I've got a 48.
starting score. Well, it takes a long time.
I worked hard for many, many years to get that. But
yeah.
Who's Ty Caliente? Okay, that's you. So you can see your trust flow score is, what was it, a 9? Yeah, so that's not great. And your citation flow, that's your importance, also on a log scale, is a what? 21. So you're more important than you are trusted. You want to be the opposite. You want to be more trusted than you are important, right? Think of somebody, well, you get more trusted links. Like, for example, I spoke at Stanford for free, paid for it on my own dime to fly out there because I got a link. I wasn't going to for sure get one, but I did a great job, and they linked to like 6 different resources that I mentioned in my talk. Stanford.edu, super high trust website, totally worth it.
Yeah,
Right?
so link building is all about quality over quantity. It's not about how many sites are linking to, it's about how high quality those sites are. One really powerful authoritative link is going to trump 1,000 low quality links.
Yep.
So it's all about quality, okay?
Are we out of time, or do we have 2 minutes? 3 minutes left?
3 minutes,
3
wow.
minutes, okay.
Okay.
So do you want to mention page speed insights, and I'll pull up the tool while you talk about it?
Sure, okay, so when we're talking about your technical SEO, and I talked about page speed, this is how fast your site loads, and you're going to have a different page speed on desktop and mobile. You can look at this through Page Speed Insights. This is a free tool provided by Google, and you can see how fast your page loads. Now, if you have a really low score, you need to get a developer to help you to increase that, because this is a ranking signal. Google will be looking at how fast or slow your pages load. So it's really, really important that you have a fast loading site, and if you don't, to increase that. Now, increasing it gets really techy and technical, so get a developer to help you. You don't want to really mess with that yourself. But it's really important that you're taking a look at these things and you know that, okay, this needs to be fixed, this is slowing me down, this is negatively impacting my ranking, so I'm going to oversee this and make sure it gets fixed.
All right, who's Uninvisible Pod? Okay, thank you. So we're just pulling up PageSpeed Insights, which is a free tool. If you have enough traffic to your site, then it will actually give you data from the Chrome User Experience Report. Real Chrome users visiting your site and how fast or slow their experience is. That's pretty awesome if you have enough traffic to get that data. If you don't, then it'll just tell you that there's not enough data for field data, as is the case here with Uninvisible Pod. But then you see the score is based on lab data, on them running some analyses, and it's a 5 out of 100. So definitely need to work on this.
All right, we're out of time, you guys. So if we want to just, Dad, you want to head to the last slide?
Yeah.
So there is so much that we didn't get to cover today, and there's so much more to this, and I want to help you guys as much as I can. So I encourage you to come up, give me your business card, or head to chloespencer.com, opt in for a free SEO strategy session with me. We'll get on a screen sharing call. I'll pull up your website, and we'll go through some tips and tricks and what's really impacting you not getting the traffic and the rankings that you want. So I encourage you to go ahead and sign up for that, or come up and talk to me and give me your business card, and we'll jump on a call.
That is a great offer. Very, very generous of you.
Fantastic.
I wish I had the time to go over your sites with every single one of you. But you recall that you can get a free copy of my book, Google Power Search, by texting 33444 with the keyword BlogHer SEO, all one word. So please do that. And I'm also going to include for all of you access for 30 days to Module 4 of my DIY, do-it-yourself SEO auditing course. Module 4 is technical glitches and easy fixes. So it's an expensive course, and you get free access to that module for 30 days. So you should totally take advantage of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.